Samuel the God, the Dono God. All right. So we got 3 different segments for today. We've got the best non-Treyarch zombies. We can kind of talk about that in depth. And then we've got the future of the MCU, basically everything that's coming out in the next 2 years. And then we've got the breakdown of my top 10 maps. And then, so for everybody that's on here, be thinking about what your top 10 is, and we can all compare notes at the end of it. Sound good? Top 10 maps. See, people will mostly go, I think top 5 is easy. Because you don't have to really like, I think it's an easier path to top 5. But I think it's a little bit harder of a path to top 10. Like, which ones do you include? And that second 5, which one do you exclude? Why do you exclude them? So yeah, man, I don't know. That was definitely something I wanted. Yeah, for sure. Top 10. All right. So, I think this is all we're going to get for now. Top best maps. Because I got a different... top 10 favorite is different than top 10 best. So, let's say best. Because you can have a criteria for best. You can't really have a criteria for favorite other than you like it. Right? Hold on 1 second. Before we get into this, everybody saw the new drip from the logo, right? Let me, I'll drop it in here, but I put it on TikTok. Man, my new logo is sick, dude. It's sick. I haven't included it into all of my media yet, but it's pretty sick. All right, here we go. Yeah, man, it turned out great. This guy's fantastic. He's in Bangladesh. He's already done a couple things for me, but this one is just kind of out of this world, frankly. Yeah, dude. It turned out so good. I couldn't be happier without. Yeah, dude. Tell me. Like, right? Sheesh. Sheesh. Dang it, Nightbot. You've been in here like 12 seconds and you're timing somebody out. Alright, we can't let Nightbot, dude, no, don't worry about it. Nightbot tends to be kind of a pain in the butt, but I just didn't... I just wanted to make sure that dude couldn't, people like that dude the other day couldn't do that. All right, dude, I like excess emotes. I like links. I don't really care about excess, and I want to keep my blacklist. All right, so we're jumping into it, boys. So best non-Treyarch zombies. What's up, Vinny / Chris / Venom? So best non-Treyarch zombies. So we've got, I guess the issue that they always run into when they do a non-Treyarch zombies title is that you run the risk of alienating people that are loyal to whatever storyline, whether it's the Ether story, premise, Ultimus. I mean, there are things about it, the perk system, the points, just kind of how it all fits together. The ones that have done well have been able to transcend that and kind of go in a different direction and make some small tweaks, but then stay true to the bulk of what's been important to zombies players. But I think the ones that have actually failed end up being the ones that try to go too far out in left field. And I think that, I do think that's an issue that zombies players have, is that their inability to accept something that's outside of what they're normally playing, if that makes sense. Like, we have Ultimus premise, we have the Ether story, anything other than that, and we kind of shoot it down in our mind. I mean, it's similar with Black Ops 4. It was a little bit different. It introduced the Chaos characters, and we're like, well, this is a little bit too different. I don't know if we like that. So, best non-Treyarch zombies. Infinite Warfare Zombies came out in 2016. 5 maps. You guys obviously know this because this is one of my favorites. But 5 maps released in 2016. Zombies in Spaceland, Raven the Redwoods, Shall and Shuffle, Attack of the Radioactive Thing, Beast from Beyond, and then that monster of a Mephistopheles boss fight. I felt like they kept enough of it the same and similar to what we were used to in the ecosystem. The perk system is very similar. They changed up the names a little bit. They made it perk candy instead of Perk-a-Colas. The majority, I mean, you could still buy things, and there are different things, ways to use your money. It didn't stray too far, but it was just different enough. We had characters that were pretty interesting, and they had good interactions with each other. I always felt like Willard Wyler was a good boss, like a bad guy. I felt like that was believable. I felt like the story was good. I liked the fact that he would actually like talk to you while you're playing and say like, that was an awful death or something like that. Or if you get into other parts of it, he'd kind of tell the story about, I think it was his son-in-law that he ended up turning into a zombie. So I thought that was cool. The new characters were good. Compelling bad guy, good maps, kept point system the same, perks mostly the same. I felt like all of the Easter eggs were good. The difficulty was there, but they weren't impossible. Boss fights were good. One of the things I think our standard storyline has suffered from is being a little bit too complex and convoluted on the Easter egg side. And so I felt like this dialed it back a little bit, still had a difficult boss fight, had really fun wonder weapons. So I think this is kind of, to me, this is the shining example of what's possible when you go outside of the Treyarch route. So that takes me to Advanced Warfare Zombies, which came out in 2015. We had 4 maps: Outbreak, Infection, Carrier, Descent. To me, with the inclusion of even the zombies themselves, but the game felt a little bit more fast-paced. The story and characters, I've had people tell me that they really, really enjoyed the story. I just felt like it was okay. I mean, having those characters that you know from well-known movies, I think that was good. I just don't, it felt a little flat. The overall game itself felt overly reliant on technology. Whereas, I mean, Advanced Warfare itself was kind of a technology-based first-person shooter. But so was Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare didn't keep any of the elements of like the thruster packs or the wall running or anything like that. They kept the futuristic guns, but they didn't keep any of those other movement mechanics from the actual multiplayer itself into the zombies game. And I felt like Advanced Warfare did that to its own detriment. I thought the fact that they had those 3D printers on the wall was a nice addition. I mean, it kind of kept everything similar, but I felt like most of it was a little bit flat. I feel like with some changes that could have resonated a little bit better. But to me, I mean, if you told me you can't play Advanced Warfare Zombies ever again, okay. I mean, that's fine. A little overly reliant on technology side. So, and I'm actually, I think I'm starting to see people come around on this, because we're seeing people come around on Infinite Warfare zombies, but World War II zombies. And I thought things were pretty exciting when the first map, The Final Right, came out, because it was a little bit different. I mean, when you compare it to other zombies, I think the movement system was a little bit clunky. I think some of the game physics were a little bit clunky. But the actual the Final Reich itself was actually pretty frightening at different times. The enemies with the barbed wire all over them, and like these crazy growths and like metal apparatus come out of them, and then like they made a point to scare you every chance they got. Like whether it was dropping something from the ceiling, somebody jumping around a corner. It was actually genuinely frightening, which, I mean, you guys know that that's something I actually enjoy about some of these horror-based games. So, but I just never felt like it could deliver on anything else. And then it fell into that trap of wanting to go in a completely different direction. So it was changing up perk system, new names, perks did a little bit different, and then it's the monetary system changes up just enough to where it's like, why would you do that? I mean, there's Pack-a-Punch in theory. I felt like the Final Reich and the Darkest Shore were pretty good, but then there was I don't know if you guys remember this. I don't know how far you guys got into this, but the Tortured Path, the game was over if you didn't do one of the objectives. Like if you failed on one of the objectives on the Tortured Path, game over. So, I mean, that's kind of an interesting wrinkle. I just don't know about that. I think it really nailed the horror aspect of it. I felt like game engine and movement were a little clunky. There was nothing to buy into. It was similar to Advanced Warfare, and I felt like they tried to buy success. They were going to get Ving Rhames, and they were going to get some of these other well-known actors to serve as the characters. But I'm not bought into those guys. I'm bought into Ultimus and Primus and the Ether storyline. So it fell flat. I mean, it was big changes compared to old zombies, completely new characters, new storyline. Too many changes from the things that we actually really enjoyed about the series. There really wasn't much to buy into in terms of character development and storyline development. But as I hit on earlier, one of the biggest changes, and I think one of the biggest values that this actually brought, was that jump scare element and actually the horror aspect of it. So I don't know how far I'm interested to hear what you guys said, because I actually talked to somebody not long ago who was saying that they really enjoyed World War II. And I'm interested, what if World War II is one of those that we end up having to just go back to play to appreciate a little bit more? Maybe it's not as bad as we thought. Maybe it's better on PC. I don't know. I played it on Xbox. So what do you guys think? What is the best non-Treyarch zombies out of that three? Let's see. Infinite Warfare didn't change too much. I loved it that way. We weren't afraid to go all out on Easter eggs and make them wild and crazy, just like BO3. Didn't keep any of the mechanics because it didn't fit with zombies. And I think that's one of the things that really held back Advanced Warfare. It's like, all right, technology zombies. It just didn't fit. It just didn't fit to me. I like having it in the future. I like the 3D printer aspect of it. I liked all of those things. I just didn't like the exosuit part of it. World War II was good graphics-wise and casual play. Other than that, it sucked. I remember having some of those maps just be too much. It was too much RNG, and then it was too much. It wasn't good for casual. You're right. It wasn't good for casual play. There's nothing to buy in from a casual aspect. I mean, that's the best zombies. If you want to go high rounds, you can go high rounds. If you want to do the Easter egg, you can do the Easter egg. I felt like they were trying to push you in one direction with World War II. And it just never made that much sense. And like, sure, they had these like really well-known actors, but what was it of value? Here, tell me the replayability factor of it, because I don't think there is one. So Kyle, Samuel, what do you guys think? Tyler, All right, Tyler. Best non-Treyarch zombies out of World War II, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare. Mason is the one, and Mason still plays World War II often. He was actually playing Final Reich the other day when I was watching him. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably, we're getting to the point where I think I may have to go back and play it again. Just to kind of definitively know, because you can get really skewed. You start to watch Samuel like World War. All right, Samuel, I want to hear it. What was it you liked about it? Oh, Tyler, you need to play some Infinite Warfare, brother. That's definitely worth a cop. I'd have to back and play them from Final Answer. Yeah, well, and then honestly, that's what I want to do. Is I don't want to. I mean, I have my initial perception of it when the game first came out, but then how accurate is that now? And then I think we've all kind of evolved since those came out. Like some of them I went back and played, and they're just they're crap. Good graphics, pretty scary. Bosses were good. What was your favorite map? Because I did the bare minimum on those maps. World War II is fun for older audiences. Yeah, dude, because there was some stuff that was like genuinely frightening about that, and I freaking love it. It reminded me a lot about Resident Evil, a lot of Resident Evil, in terms of just having like that real strong horror aspect. Samuel, which one? Let me know which one your favorite map was, and what it was about that map that made it your favorite. Because I'm interested. I mean, Final Reich, I liked it a lot. I didn't really like the Darkest Shore that much. I didn't really like. I mean, the one where it's like you fail on one of the objectives and it's over. I was like, all right, say less. I don't think I can play this anymore. Really have a fave map, to be honest. I haven't played it in a while. I don't remember the maps that well. Yeah, that's fair. I was really, I mean, like I had to do a lot of research for this one because I didn't really extensively remember. I mean, I remember I'm always excited when the new maps come out, but it wasn't like, wow, this is a banger. Like it stuck with me. I mean, Infinite Warfare stuck with me. Everything about Infinite Warfare stuck with me. World War II nails horror. It gives World at War Verrückt vibes, but I don't see it comparing to others. It's good just by itself, not comparing to COD Zombies. Well, you know what? And then that's the thing too. Is what is that? Is that a good standalone game? If we're not trying to compare that to Call of Duty Zombies, then is it actually a decent game? And then are we setting the bar unrealistically high by comparing it to these older Zombies games? I don't know. It's something to think about. But you know what, Zach? Now that you and I are being open-minded, I'm gonna go back and play it. Like I'm gonna go back and play it. It's a good standalone, but doesn't feel like a COD Zombies. I think that's a very good way to describe it. Another survival game. It did fit more in some of those horror games, so that's 100% accurate. I think. Yep, I agree. It's almost like if you had a first-person version of Resident Evil. I like how World War II had sound clips for when a zombie would pop out. Dude, and we talked about that. Like, the starting area in Final Reich, they had those guys that would drop out of the second-story windows, and then they had the ones that would come out of the windows, and you weren't expecting to be there. That was freaking awesome. That was what I probably enjoyed the most about it. All right. Any closing thoughts on... All right, so Tyler, you jumped on a little bit later. Zach, Samuel, be thinking about your top 10 zombie maps for our last segment. But our next segment is something completely different. All right, so somebody wanted to talk about the future of the MCU. I have no final answer until I replay them, to be honest. Yeah, and I think that's the fairest way to look at it. All right, so we had, and Jay's not on here, but Jay wanted to talk about the future of the MCU, and I thought that was pretty exciting because I wrote down everything that we know is coming out and everything that's in the works. Listen to this. And this is kind of a departure from zombies, but we talk a lot about Marvel and DC and other things like that. And Zach, I know you're not as far into it, but the Loki show's coming out next month. Black Widow's coming out July 2021. Apparently, that's going to tell her story from after Civil War until Infinity War, which I'm here for it. I think she's an interesting character. And then we got Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, which when they had originally did, what was it? It was the first Iron Man and then the third Iron Man that they had the 10 rings in. And they didn't really go too far into depth, but I mean, I'm interested to kind of flesh out the story because if you've read the comics and you know a little bit about that, I think that's an interesting storyline to talk about. Eternals, I mean, if you've read the comics and you know kind of about the Eternals, I think that's going to be fascinating to me. And then see how they actually integrate these guys into the MCU because these guys are depending on which version of the comics it is, these guys are super powerful. So like, how do they balance out having all of these supremely powerful beings added into the MCU? What is the balance there? And then who are they fighting against? So that's something I'm actually really pumped about. We got Spider-Man No Way Home in December 2021. So end of the year this year. And this is another one that I've kind of highlighted because it's apparently, I mean, the rumors are that we're going to get all of these different versions of Spider-Man. So we're going to get the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And so are we going to crack into the multiverse when we do this, which is fascinating to me. And then like, is this how we bring mutants into this? Is this how we potentially include Deadpool into this? The 3 Iron Man movies? Yeah, I can see that. So like, cracking into the multiverse, something that's going to be absolutely fascinating. And then kind of continuing that storyline because the way that last one ended, it was like, oh crap. Like, he just got outed. And I liked how Jonah Jameson was basically a vlogger and he outed Spider-Man. All right. Something else that's coming out is called What If? And it's going to tell different stories if things had happened differently. So if Peggy had ended up getting the super soldier serum instead of Steve, or if the Ravagers had ended up picking up T'Challa instead of Quill. So that's something else that actually sounds really interesting. It's going to be animated. The Hawkeye show is going to be 2021. I can't really say I'm that excited about it, but if it continues the storyline, then I think that's really fascinating. Miss Marvel, and so this ties into a later point, but she's getting her own show, and she's a South Asian character in the comic books that has kind of a different powers than Captain Marvel. Now this is the one that like I feel like everything is going to hinge on this one is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because we are absolutely going to, I think this is going to introduce our big overarching bad guy for the next phase of the MCU. Absolutely going to get into the multiverse because it's in the freaking name. Scarlet Witch is going to be in it. Apparently several other characters are going to be in it too. So it's going to tie all these different pieces together. And I mean, the last Doctor Strange movie was one of my all-time favorites in the MCU. And then tying a lot of those other pieces together and then kind of having the multiverse really gives the opportunity to break in different pieces of the Marvel storyline, because we've really only gotten basically the Avengers and a few other pieces. And I mean, you include all the Deadpool stories, Punisher, Daredevil, all of these other characters, all of the mutants, the X-Men, because they had these copyright issues because Fox owned all of the copyright to all of those characters. So now we get them all together like they should be. Thor: Love and Thunder. Everything I have seen about Thor: Love and Thunder looks pretty awesome. So it's going to be, I mean, he's obviously out there with the Guardians of the Galaxy, all kinds of different stories. And apparently we're going to have Natalie Portman's character as Thor. So she's going to get the powers somehow. So that's cool. That's going to be 2022. I don't know. Some of these feel like they're too far away to be excited about. Let's see. She-Hulk TV show coming out 2022. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever 2022. Yeah, Tyler, for sure. I want that too. Well, then I wasn't able to find the kind of what the next animated movie is. What's going on? So Black Panther, I guess obviously is going to be affected by the passing of Chadwick Boseman. I wanted to see a continuation of that story. Obviously, they're not going to be able to do that. But if you guys like, I think Michael Jordan having his character in there, or bringing him back and having him be part of the multiverse somehow, I think that'd be a cool way to include him again. Or you could have Shuri take over Black Panther. The Marvels, which is going to be Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel, 2022. Ant-Man and the Wasp. The next one is early 2023. Yeah, these are way too far away to even get pumped about. Guardians 3, mid-2023. Fantastic Four, they're thinking is going to be mid-2023. Blade, which I was actually really excited about because it's, I always felt like that character that Wesley Snipes played in that Blade trilogy in what was early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. I felt like he was a little like silly. So I feel like Mahershala Ali bringing his character to Blade could possibly make that a little bit less cheesy. I mean, it was always all that like 80s and 90s action heroes like Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Wesley Snipes. It's all this like over the top action. So I think he can probably bring a much more grounded character to the MCU. Let's see. Deadpool 3 obviously is coming out. We don't know when. Moon Knight, and I don't know if you guys ever read the comics, but Moon Knight is basically like the Marvel version of Batman. He's got all of these apparently I think he has all this money. I think he has some sort of like psychic powers, but not really much to speak of in terms of like the general sense of having powers. So that I'm excited about that. Secret Invasion, they've been setting that up with the Skrulls in the last few movies. And then Ironheart's coming out, and then Armor Wars, which is going to be with Don Cheadle's War Machine character. So, man, I don't know. I guess the ones that really, really get me excited, and then I see you guys are starting to ask questions, and we'll answer that. One of the biggest ones is Eternals. They always surprise me. I just don't know how they're going to integrate these characters. What's going on, man? We're over on YouTube doing a podcast if you want to jump on. So because they surprised me when they included the Guardians of the Galaxy into the MCU. So I'm really interested to see how they approach this. Obviously, I'm going to go see Black Widow because it's a movie, but I'm really excited for Eternals. Really excited for Doctor Strange. Really excited for Spider-Man. And then beyond that, it feels like it's a little bit further out to get excited about yet. All right, so the Tyrone movie is the best movie coming out in 2023. I agree. Tyrone is the absolute best character in the Marvel Universe. You've been waiting all day for this? Cool, man. You're excited for my gameplays? That's great. I appreciate it. Today we're doing podcasts, so it'll be... gameplay will be back tomorrow. Feel like Miles would be the most sense right now. The whole thing of Toby and Andrew coming back. Well, dude, Zach, and then that's cool because what if they actually go that route and introduce Miles Morales? Because I'm here for that, man. And they nailed that character on the animated version. I mean, that animated movie was amazing. Like, how do we go from identity being linked to exploring the multiverse? I don't know, man. I think Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse They're actually working on the second one right now, but they didn't tease it. I think it's because Sony owns all of that and it's not technically part of the Marvel universe. I should play Roblox. I'm interested in that. I think there's some things I could play. You got to head out. No sweat, dude. I knew you haven't played PlayStation Spider-Man, but they nailed Miles in that. I haven't, but I heard so many good things about it, and I love games like that. I love games. Yeah, man, absolutely. What about Roblox? Yeah, I like Roblox. Yeah, but those PlayStation Spider-Man games were awesome. I mean, like Roblox COD Zombies, surprisingly good. Yeah, I can play that for sure. I have family members that play a lot of Roblox, so I definitely I do understand the interest in it. So what about you, Zach? So Zach, the only one that you're looking forward to is the Spider-Man movie. Nick said he's looking forward to the Tyrone movie, but then dipped. Tyler, what do you think? Spider-Verse? Spider-Man's the only superhero I'm interested in. Yeah, he was one of my favorites. I mean, I really like Daredevil. I think they've done Daredevil dirty, other than the Netflix show. Like, those movies were awful. And there's like Moon Knight. I am here for Moon Knight because you like Aquaman? Aquaman's good too, man. You like the Jason Momoa Aquaman? All in for the Spider-Man stuff. Well, and then Spider-Man has some of the most compelling villains. I can't wait to see how that happens. Love the PlayStation Spider-Man. If you ever get a PlayStation, you got to play those on stream. Yeah, man. I watch the new movies with my stepdad. Tyler, do you like? What other ones are you looking forward to? Thoughts on the Amazing Spider-Man? You're talking about the Andrew Garfield one. I thought that was good. I was actually. Did Gwen Stacy die in the first one or the second one? Sorry, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. You're talking about the one with Andrew Garfield, right? The second one, yeah. She died in the second one. I thought Jamie Foxx's character as Electro was a little bit on the cheesy side. I mean, Spider-Man has just the wealth of bad guys. So, like, a great actor like Jamie Foxx, a great actor like Andrew Garfield, a great actress like What's-Her-Face. But I think they screwed that up, and I think that comes down to a script. But I thought he was great in the first one. I thought he was a more accurate representation of who Spider-Man and Peter Parker are than Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. I feel like Tom Holland is a little bit too of like, I mean, Peter Parker is like a genius level dude who not only has combat skills but is like big brain. So I think we started to see like bigger brain Spider-Man in the last Far From Home, but I don't know. I'd like to see them develop that a little bit more. Black Widow sounds fun. Yeah, I think it does too, man. And I think we're gonna get the Russian version of what is it? Oh, God, the Russian version of Captain America is Red Guardian. So we're gonna get the Red Guardian. We're gonna get the Taskmaster. I mean, and these are all like big parts of the comics. So I'm excited about that. The second one felt like they rushed everything and tried building up for Spider-Man 3, which we never got. They barely focused on building Electro's character. Yeah. He had a couple fight scenes, but no character development. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those movies that suffered just didn't do much in terms of character development. Zach, I think there's some of these other shows that you'll actually be interested in. All right. Any final thoughts on upcoming Marvel projects? Andrew Garfield was a very good Spider-Man. I felt like I felt like in many ways he's better than Tom Holland. I don't know if that's blasphemy. Tell you some? All right. I think you're going to like... I don't know about Black Widow. I don't know if you'll like that one. I think you're... Watch the Eternals. Because I'm really interested to see how the Eternals go. So Eternals is November 2021. Obviously, Spider-Man's December 2021. Doctor Strange is going to be awesome. I mean, it would be really hard for them to figure out how to screw this up. So I'm saying Doctor Strange is going to be awesome. Thor's going to be good because it's going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be like a space theme. I hope they're able to pull out Black Panther, the new one, because it's just, I don't know, losing Chadwick Boseman, I don't know what direction that's going to take. But those are the three that I would suggest right now. Eternals, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Thor. Those four. Toilet Burn, what's up, brother? Yeah, there is a lot of movies. I mean, there's a few you can kind of focus on. Yep, I would look out for those. Eternals, I think Eternals is going to be good. All right. You guys ready? We got a drum roll. So I want you guys to be thinking about your top 10 at the end of this segment. But my top 10, in descending order, well, ascending order, we'll go from 10 up. So number 10, I have Call of the Dead. And so for me, this was like the first Zombies event map to have all of these horror characters, to have George Romero, the setting, the Easter egg was great. I felt like the Black Ops 1 game engine movement system held it back just a little bit. But I feel like it's such a great story. I feel like it still plays pretty well. I mean, obviously, all things considered. But number 10, Call of the Dead. So number 9, I have Revelations. And I don't know, I'm starting to think that this one doesn't get enough love. I think it's a great map. I think it's a great setting. I think it's nice to have old zombie map locations with all those fractured pieces of the map. I just felt like when I say something like it being derivative, like too much, it's overly reliant on previous maps. And I think they fall into this trap from time to time. It's, I don't know. They fall into this trap. They want to suck you in. Well, but we talked about this earlier. We as zombie fans can be really finicky if it doesn't resonate enough with us from a nostalgia. No, Zach, dude, it's. I think you're good, man. That's why we're going to talk about it. All right. So, I think they try to play on that, the fact that we're looking for nostalgia. But Revelations, it was just a little bit overly derivative. I mean, to have basically, I feel like it could have been its own experience if they had just taken aspects of it and kind of melded it together instead of having a completely dedicated Varuk location, a completely dedicated mob location. Obviously, they flowed into each other, but it was literally like taking a piece of mob, dropping it into Revelation, taking a piece of Origins, dropping into Revelations. I feel like it could be higher and be better if they had not done that. If they had been a little bit more creative in how they integrated that. Great Easter egg, great boss fight. It's just the fact that it was so derivative of old maps drops it down. All right, 8. I have Buried. Amazing map, great aesthetic, great story, the best Victus map, fight me. I think it was really interesting map elements. I think to have kind of that overground, the factory setting, you had that big hole in the earth, you drop down and it's like an Old West map. And then I think having Leroy on there just made it really interesting. I mean, almost everything about this map was interesting. I just think it falls out of the top 5 because this is one of those maps that was really limited by the Black Ops 2 game and engine movement system because it's a little bit tighter of a map. It's a lot more narrow corridors. It it's tough. It's tough to navigate it and to not be able to slide and to not be able to rely on a good game or movement system. I think held it back. I mean, think about that maze. The maze where you're trying to avoid zombies, but then like the best you can do to get away from them is dolphin dive. Like I don't know. That holds it back. Number 7, I have Ancient Evil, and the only map from Black Ops 4. So it's a standout map from Black Ops 4. I think it's the right balance of map aesthetics, a good Easter egg, good boss fight, fun wonder weapons. And this is something that really stands out because those elemental, whatever they were, the gauntlets, I thought they were really good. I was surprised when I played through it, and we talked about this, but my first time really playing through Black Ops 4 was not too long ago. So Ancient Evil, the only thing that really holds us back is that it fits into the Chaos story, and those guys were just silly. Like, their story was silly, the characters were silly. I feel like they could have tied it into the overarching zombie story and still go in a different direction, but not have the characters be completely ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I know there's people that disagree with me, but that's why I can't put it a little bit higher. All right. So number 6, and I'm going to get to you guys. I'm looking at what you're writing, and so we'll talk about what yours is. Tell you what, everybody comment 10-1 what your top 10 is, and then we'll talk about it when I'm done. So number 6 is Moon. Aesthetically amazing. Obviously, the Black Ops 3 version of it is better, in my opinion. The new movement system, the graphics got a touch up. Its story is great. Overall focus of the map is great. Too overly reliant on RNG. I mean, like, when you're getting into round 20 and you're just now have all the pieces for the Easter egg, then that, to me, and we talk about the criteria for good maps, and overly complicated Easter eggs, or Easter eggs that are overly reliant on RNG, they get held back, I feel like. So overall, it's a great map. It's a great experience, telling a great story. The payoff at the end, blowing up the earth, is amazing. All of those interactions with Sam, changing the zombie's eyes from whatever, gold to blue, also very cool. Just too overly reliant on RNG. So, takes me into my top 5. In top 5, number 5, I have Shadows of Evil. So, I think people forget sometimes that this was the map at launch for Black Ops 3. It was a great start. They took it, and this is kind of like a microcosm of what we're talking about, of taking a chance with doing something new, with new characters, with new storyline, with new locations. They didn't change up the perks. They kept everything the same there, but they introduced all of these new characters and Morgue City, and have it be a city. It really, I mean, like, think about the last time we had a city-based map environment. I thought everything about it was really amazing. I thought some of this Apothecon storyline and all of that was a little bit contrived, but it was a great map. It's you can't complete the Easter egg solo, and I feel like that holds it back. You can only make it to the Shadow Man boss fight. But aesthetically, it's amazing. Movement system is great. Some of the best wonder weapons in the game. I mean, probably the best wonder weapon in the game, Apothecon Servant. Tyler, brother, I'll check you later, man. So that takes me to number 4. Number 4, I have Gord Crovey. So it was a fun map. I thought aesthetically it was very nice to look at. I thought the Easter egg, this is one of those Easter eggs, and I think this probably gets into a top 3 if it doesn't have this overly complicated Easter egg. Because I've told you guys this several times, this is one of these Easter eggs that I couldn't finish by myself. I had to squat up. It was great to look at. Easter egg was a little bit too hard. One of the best boss fights in the game. I mean, I'll go toe to toe with anybody who says that boss fight isn't one of the best. Yeah, I mean, another really great Black Ops 3 map. So that gets us into the top 3. Top 3, I have DE. So probably one of the most aesthetically gripping maps that we've ever had. beautiful to look at. Map location is great. I think the map was very balanced. You have some open spaces. You have more tight corridors. I mean, name a more iconic wonder weapon than the bows, than the Wrath of the Ancients. So I thought that was the map itself. The Easter egg was great. The boss fight was fun. You could do it solo. So I think there's a lot of value in being able to do an Easter egg solo. Because that was, I mean, like, I haven't always had a squad. So, why do I have to find a squad to complete an Easter egg? Is, I guess, what I'm wondering. But then there are some of these where, I mean, I guess it's wanting people to get into public lobbies or whatever. But, I don't know. Like, when you play with people on the internet, it doesn't ever end up working out. So, DE, number 3. So, number 2, I have Mob of the Dead. Obviously, amazing setting, Alcatraz Island. Amazing characters. I think this is one of the best, the ones that they did the best with character development. Like, we don't get very much time with these guys. You don't get very many voice lines, but I felt like even after that limited amount of interactions, you still understand more about these characters. You understand what their motivations are. You understand what they're trying to do. And even with some of these Ultimus and Primus maps, you don't feel like that. And so that's what I feel like people talk about, how it's not that great. The map itself is not that great. I think the fact that they have so much character development launches it into the top 5 and moves it near the top. It's another one of those where it's limited, in my opinion, by the game engine and movement system. But I think it's so great from a storytelling perspective, from a map aesthetic perspective, that it overcomes that. Where Buried is a little bit held back by that, I think Mob overcomes it. Easter egg was great. Another one that you had to have at least 2 players to do, but I don't know. And then the replayability. So if you killed Weasel, then the cycle continues. Or is it if you kill Weasel, the cycle continues, and then if Weasel kills you, then the cycle's broken? I forget which one it is. But to have that layer of replayability, I really enjoyed that. Obviously one of the all-time greatest maps. And two of the best wonder weapons of all time. I mean, the Blunder Gat, the Acid Gat, plus Hell's Retriever and Redeemer, amazing. All right, and so number 1, drum roll, I've got Origins. And honestly, I think people have started to try to hate on Origins because it gets so much love. But I think it gets love because it's the best map of all time. And I don't think, and I've said this before, and I have people that disagree with me, but Black Ops 2 Origins was a great map, and Black Ops 3 Origins is the best map of all time. Because you take some of that clunkiness from the game engine and movement system, you upgrade it onto the BO3 movement system, game engine, you add Gobblegum, and that's a completely different discussion for another time. But there is that replayability of having different Gobblegums. And it kind of changes your strategy. If you're just going to play casually, what Gobblegum do you get? And how does that shape the experience? Overall, I mean, I think Origins is tough, brother. It's tough. So I think it's the overall complexity of the Easter egg. The fact that you can do it solo. I guess the map aesthetic. And it's a grittier map. And one thing I'll say is that the Black Ops 2 version of Origins nailed the grittiness. Because when you're in the trenches in France in World War I, it's not supposed to look pretty. So there was kind of that grittiness to the map aesthetic itself. And I felt like Black Ops 2 nailed that a little bit better than Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 3 unnecessarily prettied up the map aesthetic. But then, I mean, to be able to slide instead of dolphin dive, I feel like they were just, and to me, one of the true differentiating factors about this map is that it was the perfect combination of steps for the Easter egg. Not too many, not too few. The steps flowed together, they made sense, and then the payoff at the end was worth it. And then the staffs, dude. I mean, tell me a more iconic wonder weapon than the staff. Maybe the thunder gun, the ray gun. So that is my top 10. I want to hear your top 10. Your number 1 is Shang. All right. All right, so we got Aiden's list. Aiden, is this like worst to first? Or is this 10 to 1 or 1 to 10? So Aiden's got DE, Shadows of Evil, Mob, Gory Crovy, Origins, Moon, Buried, Call of the Dead, Ascension, and Zetsubo no Shima. Aiden, let me know which direction that one is in. Put my top 12 just because I want to include these two maps in my list. Number 1, Gory Crovy. Origins, Shadows, Mob, DE, Revelations, Kino, Buried, Moon, Verrucht, 9, and Town. And this is an interesting point, Zach, because I have favorite maps that I think are good, but they don't have Easter eggs. And so if we've established our criteria for great maps as having Easter eggs, or how good the Easter egg is, then can maps without Easter eggs be in the consideration for best map of all time? I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just saying that's like, I sat there and I was like, I wanted to put Kino in there. And I couldn't put Kino in there because it doesn't have an Easter egg. It has those song Easter eggs, but it doesn't have an Easter egg. Let's see. Toilet Burn says his number 1 map is Shang. I don't have a list because I'm like playing any map. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's a good way to be. So tell me, Aiden, whenever you get back to me, tell me which order that's in. All right, so Zach, tell me why Gord Crovy's number 1. And I just want to hear your perspective. No, dude, brother, I'm just presenting different perspectives. Don't reconsider your. I think your map is good. Or your list is good. So tell me why Gord Crovy's number 1. We're gonna have to bump up that highest round 7, brother. I think I have a 90. It's up low 90s on Origin. I think is my highest ever. Yeah, and I try to put. Yeah, and I can see that. I have Gord Crovy as 4, and the only reason I have it as 4 is because it was just like overly contrived Easter egg. Origin's top 1, or Gord 2. Well, and then that's another thing about these lists is removing your personal preference from that. And everybody, when they hear my list, they're like, this is trash. I'm like, okay, but why is it trash? Tell me why you don't agree with me. I think we may have lost Aiden. We're going to have to do Origins Easter egg. We're going to either have to do Origins Easter egg or we're just going to play Origins one Saturday. Because that sounds fun. We'll bump up your set round 7, brother. Although, I mean, like, I had a low 90s on Black Ops 2 Origins, but I like asked these guys, what was it, Zach? I died. I know, dude, and that's why I did top 10, because I think top 5 is easy. I think top 5 is the path to creating. Yeah, dude, let's do that. Let's. Well, are you on Xbox or are you on PlayStation? Because that might make it hard. So I think that's why everybody does the top 5, because you don't have to really defend it, because I think everybody, I mean, even Aiden has a very similar top 5. It's in different order. He has DE, Shadows of Evil, Mob, Gord, Crovy, Origins. I have Origins, Mob, DE, Gord, Crovy, Shadows of Evil. He has Moon and Buried, Call of the Dead. He has Ascension in there. I couldn't include Ascension. Same reason I couldn't include Kino. It's just like, if you don't have... Wait, did Ascension have an Easter egg? It has been so long on some of these maps. Wait, did it? Oh, no, it's just a musical Easter egg. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's... Okay, Zach, let me see it. It's not weird, man. It's your opinion, dude. All right, so we got Origins, Gourd Crovey, Shadows, Mob of the Dead, DE, Revelations, Moon, Buried, Spaceland. I think that's bold. But I'm here for it, Zach. That Spaceland at 10. And I struggled putting. Well, if we're going to say the best map from Infinite Warfare, then it's probably Zombies in Spaceland. Now, my favorite map from Infinite Warfare is Raven the Redwoods. But I think if we're going to say objectively, what is the best map from Infinite Warfare, then it's Zombies in Spaceland. So that is bold, and I applaud your decision to do that. Origins, Gourd Crovey, Shadows, Mob of the Dead, DE, Revelations, Moon, Buried, Spaceland, Verrucht, 9, and Town. So tell me what it is about Gourd Crovey that puts it into your number 2. Had great replayability, fairly good Easter egg with an excellent boss fight, good and interesting wonder weapons, and a good boss. The Gourd Crovey. Yeah, man, it was something about the. I always really liked the Ray Gun Mark III. I thought it was a very good wonder weapon. Oh, you're talking about Spaceland. Okay. I love almost the same way I do with that Spaceland. I'm looking at let's see. I'm looking at the Ascension Easter egg. There's just something about Gourd Crovey that makes it interesting. Well, and I think that's true. I think it's one of the truly unique maps. I mean, there's aspects of it that you won't find in any other map. And I think anytime that they can really, what's my favorite Zombies map? My favorite one of all time, and we're actually talking about this on YouTube right now. We're talking about top 10 Zombies map if you want to jump on YouTube chat. But my favorite map is Kino der Toten. But we're talking about like the best maps, and my number one best map is Origins. And yeah, for sure, the Mangler, and then those Groff modules. I think having different parts of the map. I think having the dragon, not only like the dragon blocking off certain parts of the map, but then having him also serve as transport later. Those two different parts of the map, being in that, like hatching the eggs, all of those different things that had to do with the dragons on Gourd Crovey were so good. We're so good. I just felt like the Easter egg was a little bit too hard. And I don't complain. I like doing hard Easter eggs. But if I feel like it's just, if you have 20 steps when you only need 15, then it's gratuitous. The dragon was a cherry on top for the map, in your opinion? Yeah, dude, for sure. And then that boss fight with the dragon, and then like you got Nikolai and his mech and the dragon. I mean, that's like, that stands out above all else as just a really excellent map. I think we may have lost Aiden. We're going to get, that's why I liked it. It's a grind to complete. It's something to stay up late with your boys to complete. Yeah, and there's something about that kind of that putting the effort in, finishing it up. All right. I'm trying to keep these at an hour so I don't take up your Sundays. But I felt like this one was a really... Aiden is, let's see. Aiden SP. Aiden Ninja. He goes by a couple different names. But he was in here earlier. I think Tyler had to dip. Let's see. Yeah. But your favorite map is Transit, Golova on Outbreak, D Machine, Firebase. That's your new list? What list is that? The best all time? Oh, the transit thing was a joke, brother. I just don't know. And I wasn't going to flame you for it. I just as we've started to grow the channel, I get all kinds of different opinions. I have people that have like one of the worst, like I've had people that say that Voyage of Despair is their favorite map. I've had people say that like Die Rise is their favorite map. And I mean, I may not agree with you, but I'm more than willing to like listen to what you have to say. And that's kind of like, I think what has been good about the channel is that we can have these discussions without anybody feeling threatened or feel like they're getting shit on for just having a different opinion. So brother, if Transit was actually your favorite, then favorite is Nuketown. There is something about Nuketown, the amount of luck, like you just have to hope that Jug drops first. Transit was fun to hang out with friends, but an actual serious map I didn't feel like didn't make it. Yep. What happened? I had to turn on a little bit of latency for for chat today because I have it streaming at 4K. Favorite is Nuketown. All right, boys. I'm gonna try to keep these at an hour. So any closing thoughts on top 10 maps? All right. So I didn't ask you guys. What do you think about my list? So I'll drop it into chat real quick. I'll just do top 5. Well, I can't because we're talking about why you have to do top 10. 8. Buried. Probably the most thought through since we only had like 15 minutes to think about it. Yeah, that's fair, man. I didn't want to ambush you guys, but I did want to discuss it. Just kind of hash it out. This was great once again. Brother, yeah, man. This is getting to the point where this is one of my favorite things to do, man. So, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to try to keep these at an hour. But I'm going to get back with you guys and kind of see what discussion, what we want to talk about for next week. So if there are no closing thoughts, then I'll see you guys back on the streaming grind. Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna keep thinking on these topics and kind of what to say about your list. I've never done any Easter eggs, so I don't know if it's good or bad. That's fair, man. Like there's nothing wrong with playing casually. And honestly, that's what I like about good maps is that good maps you can play casually. You can play high rounds. You can just play. You can do the Easter egg. And honestly, I think that might end up being another criteria for making what makes a map great is that is there different ways to play the map? You're not just locked into Easter egg. All right. Something to think about. I will see you guys tomorrow on... We do. Definitely. All right, boys. Top 10 maps for casual play. No, I think that's fantastic. I think casual play is the best way to describe it. What's up, John? How you doing, brother? So, yeah, you know what? Top 10 maps for casual play. Then I'll definitely have a segment for that next podcast. All right, boys. I keep on saying I'm going to get off, but I'm obviously having we're wrapping up the podcast. What time tomorrow? I usually jump on about 12:30 Pacific time for my weekly streams. You too, man. Both of you guys. And then John, I see you're on. You were doing yard work. You're good, dude. It's the VODs on YouTube. All right, everybody. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.